You walk in tired and hungry, one bad dinner away from losing it. You don't like to cook. You don't want more takeout. You just want something good. That's why there's Dish by Blue Apron. Pre-made meals with at least 20 grams of protein and no artificial flavors or colors. From fridge to fork in 5 minutes or less. Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Daniel, day after Copenhagen 4, Manchester United 3. That was a lot of fun in games, wasn't it?
The ways they find to lose.
It's spectacular, isn't it?
It's staggering that, I mean, I'm in some ways speechless because it feels almost improper or phony. It shouldn't be possible for it to go like this. And it's like Fergie did some kind of Dorian Gray style deal where he agreed that United would win everything in sight until he quit, and then they'd be humiliatingly, implausibly shit for the rest of time.
Yeah. The amazing thing, I mean, we're going to have to get into like VAR and the referee and stuff like that, aren't we? Because it was a performance for the ages. But the ability for United to chuck away a lead twice. They conceded 4 goals in 2 sort of 3-minute bursts. Which at this point is a feature, not a bug, isn't it? Because they just keep doing that over and over again.
There's a couple of things that they keep doing. There's the consecutive goals conceded, and I think this was Colin Miller said this on Twitter because I wrote it down. 2 in 3 minutes against Forest, 2 in injury time versus Arsenal, 2 in 4 minutes against Bayern, 2 in 10 versus Galatasaray, 2 in 7 versus Newcastle,
wow.
And then both two little bouts of it last evening as well. And then Red Hod 99 on Twitter also points out that conceding straight after we score is another favourite. Yep. Arsenal, Bayern, Galatasaray, Sheffield United. And the thing that my favourite is the consecutive error goal.
Oh yeah, love it.
And there were the last 2 goals last night where Wan-Bissaka absolutely panels that back pass at Onana to concede the corner. Then the fun and games with Maguire and Varane.
Yeah.
And of course, that Rooney finishes it perfectly.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a ridiculous thing to say. I remember when we started losing those games at the beginning of 01-02, and there were loads of reasons for it, like Blog Not Stam and taking the midfield apart and Varane, all the rest of it. But what Fergie said was also, sometimes you've got to credit your opponents, and they're not missing much at the moment, he said.
Yeah.
And it does feel a bit like that things... And it's been going on for a long ass time as well. That the decisions are disproportionately going against us. That's not why we're getting beat, but that's not the same as saying it doesn't affect the outcome, which it does. Yeah. I'm talking about blame, not about outcome. And the decisions are disproportionately going against us, and stuff appears to be going for our opponents in that kind of way as well.
I think that's fair to say as well. But if you keep conceding late goals and you keep conceding goals in bursts and straight right after you score, like this is a pattern, and there's something about the on-pitch leadership and organisation that is distinctly off at the moment about United, and we will get to all these threads. But it is now Ten Hag's first choice pairing at the back of Maguire and Evans. I don't think we'd ever say that. Harry Maguire, they were trying to bounce out the club in the summer, and Johnny Evans, who was on a short-term contract and played 12 times for a relegated team last year. I don't think that would have been anyone's first choice centre-back pairing previously, but Varane out the team.
When both were at their peak.
Yeah.
When they played at Leicester together, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And at no point would any United fan have said we should just go and get both Leicester's centre backs. Not those Saint Etienne's. not Fofana, not Fofana and Saliba. Let's go and get Harris, Maguire, and Jonathan Evans. No,
it's spectacular, isn't it? Yeah,
but I'm not what I would say about this game is I'm not despondent in the way that I felt after some of the other games. I think this game, Galatasaray, Fulham was a bit of an improvement in that we were a bit more solid.
Yeah.
And played with a little bit more confidence. And last night, we played some good football. I mean, okay, Copenhagen is shit, but it doesn't feel unreasonable to say that if Rashford hadn't been sent off in peculiar circumstances, we would have won that game easily. Or if Martinez and Shaw had been playing, we would have won that game easily.
Look, I think that's all fair. And the first 20 minutes, as Rasmus Højlund pointed out when interviewed afterwards, United were quite good. So, yeah, and zipping the ball around, which hasn't happened much recently, and it looked like United were on for a comfortable win. So.
Imagine how much Rasmus Højlund fucking despises these idiots.
Yeah.
They either don't get him the ball in the league, and in the Champions League, they're just tossing them in faster than he can score them. And he's scoring them fast. 5 goals he's got.
Yeah, I mean, and both nicely worked goal. So the first goal, Wan-Bissaka's no-look pass and Scott McTominay's third-man run, and Rasmus Højlund being in the right place, all perfect.
Do we think Wan-Bissaka was trying to play the way he was facing?
Well, then let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say it was a very good pass inside the channel. So.
On the team though, I jotted something down. A quote from Ten Hag before. He said, "We have to work on a stable starting 11 of 12, 13 players. Then the routines will be better and the chances will be coming for him." He said that of Højlund. Now, I totally get on board with this, but please pick the best players. And there is no way that Eriksen, McTominay, Bruno Fernandes is a midfield. It is not.
No.
And you get away with it against a team as shite as Copenhagen, but it feels to me like we've wasted a month of team development. And not totally, because I think it feels like Garnacho's in it now. I mean, maybe that won't happen, but he's in that left wing slot and Rashford's going to have to take the right. And that makes some sense because the balance that Rashford gives us of a right footer on the right is probably helpful for getting service into Højlund, and we saw it with the first goal.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why we gave Dalot a 5-year contract, number one. Number two, especially if we're giving Wan-Bissaka one.
Yeah.
I felt like one of those
sorted yet, but it looks like it's on the cards, doesn't it?
Yeah. What you keep one of those two as a reserve. And for my money, you keep Wan-Bissaka because you could find a million better versions of Dalot, whereas Wan-Bissaka gives you something particular. So, but why would you not play Reguilon on the left for balance, for overlaps, for someone that can
he doesn't trust him.
On them?
So, I mean, it is remarkable. I don't know, but he doesn't trust Reguilon for reasons because he is Spurs' third choice left back and can't defend. He doesn't trust Amrabat. It seems. He doesn't trust Mount.
This is nuts.
He just spunked 60 million on. Anthony was out of the side because he's giving nothing, just the 100 million on him. And
it wasn't that much, was it?
No, 100 million euros or 95 plus 5. So it's about 80 million pounds. Yeah. One Harry Maguire.
We haven't, like, why? What's going on with Amrabat? I don't get it. That if you're not playing him in a game like this, where Casemiro's not available, why do you have him?
I don't know. And I know he's trying to square a lot of circles here because it's unbalanced by injuries and lack of form and so on. So that's part of it. But he's creating more squares than circles, if that makes any sense. I mean, he's shifting players out of position in order to try and solve the problems.
More squares.
It doesn't make any sense, right?
What was your favourite window on Play School?
The triangle.
So I was square, but now I look at it and I think, what a dickhead I was. How could it not be circle? If it offered triangle, circle, square, but I was very much square.
Yeah, so look, he's creating compromises in the team to try and fix other problems. And clearly he feels that Scott McTominay offers some kind of attacking threat. That's the only reason to have him in there, because he doesn't pass the ball.
He does.
He does.
See it. Yeah. We saw it yesterday, but the future of this team is not attacking threat with Scott McTominay.
No.
Which sounds like some kind of terrible TV show.
Now on GB News. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Yes. I mean, look, it's you cannot control a midfield with Eriksen who can't run, Bruno who goes for the final pass wherever he is on the pitch, and Scott McTominay who just will not pass the ball, cannot pass the ball. So, yeah, obviously that is not midfield, and it should be fairly clear to everyone that is not the answer. But and I don't know how long it will persist with, because Casemiro's out till the new year. So, and he clearly doesn't trust Mount or Amrabat, or they'd be in the team. Because why wouldn't they?
Incidentally, on Mount, why did he send Mount on for Højlund at the end there?
Yeah, I mean, Højlund might be blowing out of his arse, but we needed someone to actually hold the ball up, didn't we? Yeah, to release some pressure.
And who said he was? I mean, he was blowing out his arse, mate. But I think. Also, like what someone told me, Mike, who listens to the show, told me was that he thought that Mount was due to come on before we conceded, and he just set him on anyway.
Yeah, might well be true.
Yeah, and that to me is surely the circumstances have now changed where you require a goal. But as it goes, I mean, it's ridiculous to say it, but we're not in as much trouble as we should be in this group.
Well,
2 wins, definitely enough.
Yeah,
beat Galatasaray, who we know is shit because we saw, and beat Bayern, who are already clinched the group at home. And if we beat Gala, and I mean, there's obviously ifs and buts. If we beat Galatasaray, FCK don't beat Bayern, lose to Bayern, and then their game with Galatasaray is a draw, 3 points enough.
Yes, it's clutching at some straws, though, isn't it? Because would you trust this team to go away to Galatasaray and not concede a hatful? So I'm not sure I do.
No, but I don't trust Galatasaray not to either.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're not a good team, and you're hoping in a dead rubber at the end of the group that Bayern won't care, which they might not do, or maybe they will do because hey, they're a lot stronger than us. All right, back to this game. So I guess the pivotal moment. So United were 2-0 up, right, when Rashford got the red card. Was it 2 or 1? I can't remember. It was 2-0. It was 2-0.
2.
And it's one of those, like, only happens in the VAR era red cards where he's just planting his foot and blocking off the opponent. And the opponent's, a microsecond too quick in there. And it's one of those ones where you slow it down frame by frame and it looks like a stamp, but in no reality would anyone actually think that's a stamp. So, I mean, I guess it might be correct if you'd have to call it reckless, right? Is that reckless that he should have known that a player might put his leg under him? I don't know.
Yeah, like no one is giving that out according to no one's giving that a red card because it's reckless. It's not. I don't think it looks bad when you watch it slow down in slow motion. It's that, isn't it?
But this out of context, it's just nonsense to do this. I mean,
I agree.
Like, it's one of the worst things about VAR, and there are many, many bad things about it that I'm sure everyone listening will probably agree. But one of the worst things is like this kind of technicalities of fouls and handballs. And we saw 2 handballs and 1 red card last night. None of which I would have all of which I'd be happy if they hadn't been made as a decision. Just because, like, are we really giving an 80% chance of scoring a goal for, like, a 1% chance of scoring, right? We're swapping these 2 things, and which it just seems totally unreasonable and unfair and against every spirit of the game that we might want. And then sending off a player for putting his foot down. So,
I mean, as soon as I saw the replay, it was just, he's getting sent off for this. I don't want players to be sent off for that, but it felt like no referee is going to look at that and say no. Although I read on Twitter earlier that some lads were in the same hotel as the referee, and I'm now writing a check that I can't quite cash because I don't have it up and I'm going to get it up. But he said that it wouldn't have been a red card in the Premier League. Okay, this is what I said. And there's a picture of the ref, so it seems like it's true. He said, ref's just been collared in our hotel. Apparently it wasn't his decision to send Rashford off, and said in the Premier League it wouldn't be a red. Yet he went over to the VAR screen, says at JoshMUFC951. And yeah, I mean, that if the ref said it, he said it, doesn't mean it's true. But it's something that was said. And it's the problem that you alluded to, and we say this all the time, is partly a structural problem with the game. A penalty is too severe a punishment for most of the things that yield penalties. And what VAR has done is it's given us more penalties. So it's more games are getting skewed based on that weakness in the legal framework. So that's one issue. But the other issue is poorly drafted laws and poor interpretation of the laws. I don't know. I felt like with that and with both the penalties, if you hadn't have given them, would anyone have given a fuck? The offside that we didn't get for the first goal was by far the most egregious of those things. And also the elbow that Højlund got off the defence of Vavels, who'd been booked.
Yeah.
Those offences were, I thought, far more egregious than any of the other ones the penalty United got, which at least when that happened, you think, well, it's definitely a penalty. You can't avoid giving this because he gave that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that should have been a penalty for United. It's too much like one of those ones. It brushes the knuckles, what do you like? It's one of those penalties that happens because the player has arms, right? If you chop his arms off, then it's all right. So yeah, it's none of these I actually like. So what is it? 4 decisions that went against United and 1 that went for. And I'd be happy if none of those were given the way that they were given. And
also the ones that went against us will generally preceded the one that went for us. What would happen if a player took their arms out of their shirt? If it hits your sleeve, is it a penalty?
Well, they would have to get booked for taking their shirt off, wouldn't they?
No. Your shirt is on. You're just taking your arms out, Edward. This is cunning.
How would you do that? You put it through your head, or are you saying that?
No, I'll show you. I'm doing it right now. It's this.
Right.
I'm saying.
Okay. This is a podcast. But, okay.
Yeah. But we're being filmed, aren't we? I've just taken listeners. I've just taken my arms out of the sleeves of my hoodie, and I'm clasping them to my torso.
Yes.
So if you do that, are you not going to give away a penalty ever? I don't know. Or if it's your sleeve, is it a penalty? Who knows? Because they can't see what is hit. But anyway, the point is bollocks. And
yes. Well, the way the law is drafted on handball, that it's the sleeve of the arm. If you wear long sleeves as well, that makes it more difficult to determine the difference between your shoulder and your arm, right? There's not a line drawn on everyone's arm, but there's an imaginary line that the referee has to draw in his mind. If that makes any sense.
Like the equator.
I mean, I was getting particularly irate about it, and I hate doing that because I just want to watch the football. But I'm watching that game, and apart from United being like crap and not seeing any light at the end of the tunnel right here, to then spend the entire game going, this is ridiculous. Why are they ruining the game with this stupid stuff, which we're not going to be able to roll back because that would take those in charge and Arsene Wenger to go, we made a terrible mistake here. This has not made the game better.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get semi-automated offsides. So that will be helpful. But yeah, the handball law needs attention. But until we stop giving penalties for everything, we're going to see a lot of penalties.
Yeah, and it doesn't make the game better. At all. And like, even the semi-automated offsides doesn't fix it all because we had one subjective offside go against us for a goal at the weekend and then one go against us for a goal conceded last night. So
brilliant. Yeah, I don't, it's not, so that fix would just be, we don't have to sit there while some bellend in a shed draws lines arms straight on the screen. And we're supposed to call this sport.
Yeah. How was your geometry when you were at school? So,
I could do that. I don't have steady hands. I was so terrible. I was so terrible at art and everything like that.
Yeah.
The fact that I can skin up is generally a miracle of modern engineering.
Yeah. Very good. I think old Eric has been skinning up based on some of his team selections and interviews at the moment. Although I think we get more imagination after the game. For him, it was surprisingly on point. He's tended
if he was spending all his time bunning, I think we'd get a bit more imagination.
Probably would.
I don't think he'd be picking McTominay every week in midfield, but I hope that. Because if you think about what's happened over the last few weeks, Another's playing much better now.
Yeah.
So that's happened.
He's got over the hump, although he still does make stuff look hard. I mean,
yeah,
a couple bounced off his arms, yesterday.
He's one of those keepers. I mean, he is. He's one of those keepers. But he appears to be much more settled now than he was, and that is helpful. And Højlund is still scoring goals, and it's clear that we're trying to find ways of servicing him, as it were.
Yeah.
and gosh, but it's that midfield. And again, like I think the injured players thing, it feels like you're bitching about it, but the back four, like it was two players who Evans, a free transfer because you weren't allowed anyone good, and someone you tried to fuck off who said no. Those are your starting centre backs. Then you've got your deputy right back at left back, and your right back who you sort of would like someone better than if you could, but you don't. That's your back four. I mean, I would feel like an idiot if I judged 10 up based on what we've seen this season, which doesn't mean he's not culpable for some of this bullshit.
Yeah.
At all. He's totally culpable for how unfit they were at the beginning, and that sort of started it off because they just couldn't gather any momentum. The opposite. Yeah. And the teams were coming to play United thinking we're going to have these. And
we're getting a lot of muscle injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's partly culpable for that because I think the pre-season did not set up the team well. I mean, clearly they had all these pre-season games, but it was a lot of travel and a lot of commercial arrangements and not actually that much training in between all the travel. And they hardly any of them got any full 90 minutes in pre-season. And then they come out of that period with tons of muscle injuries. And it's not a surprise.
But that's the manager's fault. Like, why am I watching some of these players who are probably never going to play for United, half of some of them? Like, not going to be, and he was much too generous with the matches. If you want, I get you need to look after everyone, but then organise something else. Organise a practice match against whoever it is, the US, an MLS side, whatever you have to do, because you want those people to have practice, but you've just signed Mason Mount. You need Mason Mount to be playing matches with the players he's going to be playing with, like Casemiro or whatever, who incidentally, I heard a story about Casemiro that when we played Madrid in that game, on the pitch, Ancelotti was patting him on the stomach and laughing. Like they were laughing about how fit he wasn't.
Yeah. Well, he showed it. He's not going to be back till the new year by the looks of it. And same with Martinez, which is a pretty big blow to lose him for months on end. So
Casemiro, I would be trying to manage out at this point, I think.
I'm sure they must be looking at the Saudi Pro League as an exit strategy. So there's already talk about Varane being on the way out, potentially to that route as well.
Yeah, Casemiro, I'd be thinking, not about like I don't want to pick him, he's not good anymore. I think he could still do a job, particularly if Manu plays as a number 6 and is good. Then Casemiro is still useful, but it's more about moving the team on. And what we've seen from Casemiro since that second suspension suggests that he's not going to be part of the future. So if that's the case, then you use him when you need him, but I'd be trying to look at moving the team on without him, I think, while still playing him when I wanted to. But the problem is that Ten Hag's not doing that in the midfield. Perhaps we might now say at the back, Evans is injured, so he doesn't have options, really. The back four is going to be, for the foreseeable future, is going to be Maguire, Varane, until he gets injured, Gallo or Reguilon, and Wan-Bissaka. That's going to be the back four. It looks like the front three probably is the front three. So he now needs to get that midfield sorted. And we won't be good until Martinez is back, because the way he wants to play is very contingent on Martinez. And when Varane or Maguire will both leave, we will then sign a centre-back, presumably, that will make us less dependent on Martinez. But in the meantime, he's the guy that we have that can pass the ball out of defence. And the frustration also, I guess, is that if he wasn't available when Luke Shaw was, then we would have that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't. And
I have no idea of the timeline on Shaw's return either. That's not been made clear. United under Ten Hag are very vague about injuries. And Ten Hag likes to just call them sick or ill. He calls them ill, doesn't he? And it's not clear whether it's a week or 6 months. But so sure, we have no timeline on. I don't know how Casemiro and Martinez both being out to New Year got out, but it did somehow.
He said it, didn't he?
Did he say it?
Yeah, he said it in the press conference.
Really vague about it.
It was strange the way he answered the question, but yeah, he said it before in the press conference.
All right. Yeah. Well, that was awesome.
Again,
it was, for me, it was day drinking, and I was just like, yeah, sod it. That's the end of my day, I think. I was just so annoyed by the whole thing. United's performance, just chucking it away, the referee, VAR, just hating on this stuff. Yeah.
I mean, and we have the 13 minutes of first half injury time, which were necessary. I mean, what the fuck is that? That they conceded 2 goals. I think it was maybe only one that was in injury time, but it's just part of this whole bizarreness that, you managed to concede a goal in the 9th minute of first half injury time. How many first halves have 9 minutes of injury time?
Yeah, I actually struggled to count up how it was partly because they took so long on the potential check, right? So they played a couple of minutes before they came back for the Rashford red card check. And then it took another few minutes from there. So I guess quite a bit of it was that, because you have to roll it back. So those 2 minutes didn't exist. It's like some kind of Back to the Future nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, what is time? Time is Helvetic. Maybe Eric Ten Hag inspired Niles and his enjoyment of the word hill. Yeah, I mean, Bob Marley said it as well. None of them can stop the time, apart from VAR. But there was also the person that was in the crowd as well.
That's true. Yes. I'd forgotten about that one. They had to put screens up. So it looked like the end of the Grand National, didn't it, when they pulled the screens up?
That's just that, exactly. But yeah, I mean, they then say on the PA that the person was well under the circumstances or something.
Great. Well, we got a game at the weekend.
We do.
That'll be awesome, won't it? How many penalties will Luton get on VAR? It'll be quite a few.
I mean, they're quite good at set pieces, Luton. I mean, Luton are quite an interesting team because it's interesting to see if that style of football can still succeed in 2023. Where I remember watching them in the playoff game against Sunderland, and they just totally outmuscled Sunderland. It was a physical thing. Sunderland couldn't cope with the physicality, and they couldn't cope with the long balls.
Yeah.
And watching it, I said that at the time that I'd be interested to see how they went, and I felt like maybe they could just get enough points at home to stay up. I don't think they will. I think they might come closer than the other two promoted teams, but it feels like the gap between the teams that are in the league and the teams that came up last season is chasmic.
Well, clearly. I mean, although Luton are at the bottom three now, aren't they, with that draw against Liverpool? But
who's in Everton?
I can't remember who dropped into the bottom three, but yeah.
If only there was a way we could find out.
Yeah. I could do. I just can't be bothered.
I'm doing it.
You do it. Look at the table.
I'm doing that.
I think they are 17th, Luton.
They are. Yeah, they are. And the bottom three is Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And Luton are 5 points behind Everton, so there's already a gap.
Yeah. Yeah, unsurprising. I mean, given the gap in finances, and every team that comes up has to make the same gamble now, which is, do I spend the extra 100 million that I'm getting in TV revenue on players and gamble that I'm going to stay up? And it's not just the shelling out on the actual transfer fees, it's then locking them into a 4 or 5 year contract when you might not be, whether you only get 3 years of parachute payments, and it could cause you more financial problems than you've actually gained by being up in the first place. So it's the cliff edge of the finances, which may or may not change when the regulator comes in. I don't think it'll be rapidly at all, because actually what they're talking about is just, while they're going to, like at the moment, the proposal is they keep the parachute payments. They just offer more money to the rest of the league to reduce the gap between the relegated teams and the rest of the championship. But it doesn't reduce the gap between the top championship teams and the rest of the Premier League, which just causes this massive gap. Anyway, that's a long way of saying Luton are shit, as are the rest of the bottom three, and United really should be doing away with this lot. But I can see a scenario in which a long ball over the top catches out Harry Maguire, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, why?
I shouldn't pick on him because he's not been that bad in the last month or so.
He was very culpable for their winner last night.
Yeah.
And it's just, those are the kinds of situations that the player we were the player that his PR said he was, is where he makes sure that you see those out. That the ball in his head should feel like there's some kind of magnetic attachment, and he wins everything. He's not dominant in any way. And it's really hard to blame someone for things that aren't directly their fault. There's some defenders, Steve Bruce, John Terry, who make sure that you win those games. And we don't, and he is not one of those. Martinez did it against West Ham last season, the home game against West Ham. But I feel like we will beat Luton. And that is for Thatcher.
Very good. I mean, I love the confidence. Yeah. It's stick it up. And I have very little confidence in anything United do at the moment. And they find ways of blowing it all the time. And they also find ways of getting to their opponent's level. So I feel like we're quite capable of getting to our opponent's level. We're quite good at dumping pointless long balls forward at the moment. Did quite a lot of that.
I thought, we got a bit better last night. And what I appreciated was at least we started the game in the proper manner.
Oh yeah.
That we were at it from the off, not conceding 2 goals to Nottingham Forest, Old Trafford, which is just some of the most bizarre shit you'll ever see. We actually started a game in the proper manner, and that is a massive improvement, even though we ended up losing 4-3 to FC Copenhagen. Do we lose 4-3 to Bayern as well? We lost 2 games of 4-3 in this group. Yeah. I mean, at least it means if it comes to goal difference, we're likely to be top of the goals scored.
If it comes to that, yeah.
If it does come to goal difference, we will. Is
it goal difference, goals scored, then head to head, or goal difference?
No, I think
head to head, then goals scored.
It's head to head, but we lost both games. But we're level with Copenhagen, but above them on goals scored. But they've got more points than us, obviously. It's just a bit. But if you get
that's a minor problem. But yeah,
right. But it's just in those permutations that if we get 4 points and one of them gets 2 points or whatever, and it comes down to that. If it comes down to level on points, United will probably go through, I would say, based on the way the goals difference and goals scored are now, and the fact that getting to that situation would entail United winning a game and the others not winning games.
Yeah. All right. What do we think the team's going to be for Luton? I mean, I guess the back four pretty much picks itself, isn't it? It's going to be Nana, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Varane, and
one of
Dalot or Reguilon.
I mean, I think it will be Dalot. I would go Reguilon.
And then up front, Højlund, Garnacho did enough to stay in the team?
I thought so.
Rashford.
And like Ten have said, you've got to leave it alone.
Yeah. And then the balance in midfield, I mean, it doesn't look like there's any willingness on his part to drop McSauce yet. But
no, it doesn't. And he'll be thinking, we should beat Luton with him, and he knows where the goal is, and the problem against Luton is likely to be scoring goals. So why am I taking out someone that is actually sort of making goals happen? And obviously the answer is because we're trying to be good at football, not beat fucking Luton once. But it feels unlikely. I mean, again, how do you you can become a possession team, by the way, if your wingers are Garnacho and Rashford, and you've got Bruno, but you need to think about how you're going to make that happen.
Yes, and it doesn't happen with Scott McTominay in there for sure. I mean, the thing is, I said this before, that Ten Hag has abandoned his principles, and I can't tell whether it's a long-term abandonment, which it's kind of sounded like because he gave that interview to the Dutch football TV, didn't he, where he said we can never play the Ajax way. But there's not a chance in hell Scott McTominay would have got in that Ajax side the way they were playing. So,
I mean, you say that, and it sounds eminently sensible. And I'm going to say, but Donny van der Beek did.
Yeah. Van der Beek's fit at the moment, right? He's just he's not in the Champions League squad, so he couldn't have played last night. But is he in the Premier League squad? Is he still alive?
I don't know. I think he is in the squad because they've been on the bench this season, I think.
Are we sure?
I think so.
He's like Schrodinger's footballer, isn't he? Until we've actually checked whether he's alive or not. He's still alive.
Him and Sancho.
Or maybe dead.
Forgot. He used to be Ashley Young. People were like, totally forgot to play to United. But yeah, Sancho is another one. I was not sitting there at any point thinking Sancho would sort this.
No. Not when it comes
I want to be thinking that. I want to be thinking it, but I wasn't.
I think we've all moved on from Sancho, and clearly they'll try and get any fee they can from him in the winter, which will be unlikely, and they'll probably get a loan somewhere.
I mean, he's moved on from us, in fairness.
Well, clearly he has, yes. Man, what a mess of a club. No news on the takeover. It seems they're still negotiating the terms. Hopefully news will come out soon and we can all celebrate 25% of the club not being Glazer owned. Woohoo. Being
owned by, a Tory Brexiter polluter.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Awesome
Football
stuff.
Talk by Matt Busby.
Yeah. Are you going to update the songs? Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you at the weekend.
Please.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.